and learned things about myself that I didn't know was there, you know. It was really pretty. It was just a very beautiful process, the whole thing.
What's up, everybody? This is writer-director of the feature film Lion Killer on the first ever Lion Killer podcast. Today we have a special guest. You may know her from such films as Lion Killer, but also she's been on Dynasty, Watchmen, Lady and the Tramp, Queen of the South, and soon to be released The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. We have today Regina Ting Chen.
Hello.
How you doing, Regina? Did I leave anything out? Did I leave anything out as far as
no? That's no. You got it all covered. That I'm allowed to talk about because there's a lot of production. We got to keep it under wraps.
Well, things are going good if you've got stuff you can't talk about. So.
Huh?
I said things are going good if you've got stuff you can't talk about.
Okay.
Right?
It's definitely a hustle. Definitely.
So those who don't know, Regina was local here to the Houston market where we made Lion Killer. Since then, she's gone on to the Atlanta market. We're going to get into that a little bit, what it's like being an actor in the Atlanta market. But right now, just catch us up on what you've been up to since you left Houston, Regina.
Well, I left Houston and moved to Atlanta to pursue TV and film opportunities because it's definitely a rapidly growing market up until COVID hit, so everything's been shut down lately. But for the past year and a half that I've been here, it's been great. Lots of auditions. It's definitely getting more and more competitive as each week goes by. There are people moving here from LA, New York, and just in the city itself that are fighting to get agents. And if you have an agent, you're fighting to get opportunities to audition and like just staying on top of your A game and making sure all your marketing materials are on top of it. Like those things, it's a different environment from Texas. It's not like Texas was, above or below it. It's just different. So having to accommodate to the rhythm of the city here and the industry has been not really challenging, but a learning curve. But I think I have a handle on it now.
Well, those that aren't local to, I guess, the South, quote unquote, the South, Texas is really its own thing. And then it's its own unique culture. And was there a curve with getting used to the different culture? And you look at Georgia, you consider Georgia the South, right? Like when people think of the South, they think of Georgia, Mississippi, stuff like that. So.
The work is different. Like I think Texas was there are some TV and film productions, but it's very like indie film heavy, and indie production I think is super cool because it allows creatives to really be able to find other creatives and make work together. Whereas here in Atlanta, I found that it's not as the independent film community isn't as strong here as it was in Texas, just from my experience. Maybe I haven't found them yet. Yeah. But and then there's, of course, a ton of commercial work in Texas, like so much. So that's really good.
So you're saying it's more studio driven projects in the Atlanta market than here, and it's easier to get on set whether you're just trying to be a filmmaker or an actor if it's an independent film versus I would imagine the competition to get into a studio film or TV unreal. Show. Yeah, it's unreal. A little different, right? Because you also have everybody else from all over the country, if not the world, moving to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, and auditioning from all the different markets too, like even from the UK. Like it's just everywhere, And Atlanta's a great place to kind of get credits and build your resume. Not saying that LA and New York aren't, but it's just a new growing industry to have those opportunities.
Yeah. Any horror stories for auditioning you wanna tell?
This market is mostly taped auditions, so. The only horror stories I have are, camera malfunctions or realizing my audio wasn't working the whole time.
Yeah.
And like rewatching old tapes and being like, wow, how did I think I was ever good at that point in my life? I felt that way about Lion Killer. I'm like, oh my God, Derek and B gave me a chance to play this role. Like I rewatched that tape and the growth I had from the moment I taped that audition to actually being on set and finishing the film is drastic, and I'm so glad it happened. And especially with your direction, it's like, oh, now this is legit. Like I had the pieces. I just needed you as the glue to make them fit and like actually deliver on camera.
Well, I appreciate it, but it's funny you mentioned that because also I was going through old footage and I found your audition.
Oh no!
And I was thinking, I wonder if I should include this stuff in the DVD release, the auditions of the cast.
You know, I'm a huge fan of like growth, and I am not opposed to putting. I mean,
but you gave a great audition. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to put it out there that you gave a bad audition and I did you a favor. I mean, you did a great audition.
Thank you.
There's more to life than fighting, Michael.
I guess you wouldn't understand.
Get out.
You want me to leave?
I can't do this anymore.
You can't do this anymore.
Get out. Get out!
Let's be real. I've come a long way since that audition to filming.
And we all have. And that's the great thing about doing a feature film. You can really see your growth from beginning to the end. So, you know, I appreciate you trusting me to lead everybody in the right direction. But let's go ahead and talk about your experience with Lion Killer a little bit.
My experience was unlike most. It's like this is a few years back now. It's crazy how quickly time flies. But I think I saw the project on some social media platform, probably Facebook. And I think either like we had been in contact and I was interested in being a part of the film. But at the time I was going through, my dad had 2 strokes back to back. It was like a really hard time in my life. I stopped everything, acting, work. I had to go home and take care of them. So anyway, and at that point, since I couldn't work, I think you were in the middle of just casting the leads and all the secondary parts and all that stuff. So I think that, what was it, like 8 months later, I was able to reach out because I had seen a little clip you had posted of the idea of the film. And then I was just curious how things were going because I really liked the storyline and I really like being a part of independent projects that I can tell will make it to the finish line, which seems crazy, but it's really hard to do this kind of work and make it to the end.
Well, not to cut you off, but that's honestly one of the biggest obstacles with the making as the director, as the filmmaker. So many people came through and you could tell they were treating it like, oh, well, we're going to do a little promo video and maybe I'll get some stuff from my reel. But they didn't really, some people I didn't feel had faith that it would ever get done, which I understand as an actress, you probably do a lot of stuff independently and you give your heart and soul and a lot of projects just collapse.
Yeah, you don't see it.
Yeah, and it's like, if you even get stuff for your reel, it's probably a miracle. Then you have to trust, because without this mutual trust thing that we're trying to build, I mean, at any given point, if you or Matt or, just said, oh, we're halfway through and I'm moving to Belize, it would have been over. So there was really like a lot of trust that you guys gave me and that hope I gave in return, that really helped to make it happen. So go ahead. From there, you heard about the project.
I reached out and you were like, actually, can you come in and audition for one of the roles? Actually, I think we talked about this. Like, I did not know I was coming in to audition for the lead female role.
I can't remember if I did that intentionally or not. Because I
don't know. If you did, it was genius because I was coming in and I was like, well, that role is probably already cast. And that goes to show you, like me, I'm not used to being given those opportunities to read for a lead role. Like it's usually some kind of supporting or small little thing, which is fine. I will still hustle through it. But I went in and did as best as I could. And then you offered me the role like that night or the next day or something like that.
I believe I texted you,
yeah. And I was like, which role? Like I thought I was reading for something else. I couldn't believe it, but I was so excited. And then after that, we started to do reads for the male lead.
Yeah, and you
That
were
was fun.
you were integral in that. Did you have a good time with that? Because
Yeah,
that
it's fun because you can have an amazing actor with so many credits and then some that are just totally new,
hmm
and you won't know if there's chemistry till you read with them. It's like
hmm
a really cool, like you can't predict these things. It's a human connection that you can only feel when you're there in the room with them.
yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. We did chemistry tests, as you remember, like in person, I think 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah, I
And
think we had three different, Matt being one of them, but we had three actors who kind of we whittled it down. And for an independent film, outside of LA or New York, I think the audition process was not only professional but pretty extensive. Like I don't know,
oh yeah,
like a lot of independent features on the budget that we did do two, three, four, levels of auditioning. So we whittled it down, and you were there for all, if not most, of the audition process. And we finally got it down to three guys, and then we did. And then I remember I took them. So we'd all done that in the studio, and then we finally took them in a parking lot. And I believe it was summer. It was kind of hot because the thing is, we're going to be shooting in some run and gun situations. So also not only chemistry, I wanted to make sure people weren't complaining about the heat and there's no AC in the car because of audio. So we did the final chemistry test with you, and we scheduled, I think, every hour someone would show up.
yeah.
And tell us about that.
Um, all three candidates were great. But something about Matt, like as soon as he got out of the car and we like saw each other, it was like, okay, cool, we're cool. It's like you just feel that human connection. It's not like, oh my God, I'm in love with this person. It was just more like there's just an energy that
Yeah.
clicks. It was very immediate, and then we got going, and he was completely off book. He was in the moment right away, which is really big for me because
Mhm.
acting is reacting,
Yeah.
and it's it was effortless, and that's
You,
what I really liked.
I was going to say, it just reminded me of something, and I've never told anybody this. Matt probably doesn't know, but I kind of knew Matt was probably the guy. We hadn't made final selections, but I knew he was the guy I liked. And I remember we had a thread with you, me, and then the crew, and we were all sending memes of Matt back and forth because he had done this pose where he was like this.
The taco pose.
Yeah, and Matt doesn't know this, right? And then we would insert different items. I think I inserted knives like he was juggling them with like a carnival
I
hat.
think I started it because I took the picture and I was like, it looks like he's holding tacos. So I put like taco emojis in his hand.
Yeah.
And then it became a thing.
And we just kept going back and forth. I mean, by the time the fifth person is doing this, it's kind of obvious that, okay, Matt's probably the guy. And I've never showed him that because I didn't know how he would take it. But
I feel like I would have shown. It's like unlike me to hide something like that from people. I mean, that was like the nature of our relationship. Like all of us, it's like we had fun together.
Yeah.
Things were hard. Things in indie films are hard anyways, but like you have to have a good laugh, just have fun, have a good time together.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was fun. It was an effortless chemistry test. Like with him, it just felt so real every time we did it.
and I think everybody who was there, and it was only like 4 or 5 of us that were there, which was also the way we shot it. But I think everybody could kind of see when you guys were together, it was different. And that's once, like you were saying, that's not to say that the other candidates were bad. It's just you could tell that when you guys got together, there was something different there that is what I was looking for. So then Matt gets cast, and then what's the next step after that?
Gosh, we started doing
rehearsals, huh?
Yeah, we were doing rehearsals, read-throughs, lots of them, because we really wanted to make each moment as authentic as we be as best prepared as we could be. And the craziest thing is, like, all of us were just volunteering our time because, like, in the indie world, you have to work on a small budget, so you really have to believe in the project to put forth all that time and create something magical. And we always did. Like, it was so great. It was such a cool learning process.
Yeah, and to that point, like for all the filmmakers out there, when you do like an independent feature film, micro budget feature film, whatever you want to call it, it's like the actors have to be, when you're there on set and someone's donated a location to you, you have limited time, resources, everything. So you got to make sure that everybody hits their mark hits their performance, and you guys can kind of, I think we got better as we shot, but you can't shoot 20 takes of it. You know what I mean? So it's great for me personally to get everybody together as much as you can. Go, and I don't think we didn't rehearse the entire script, but I remember we took key scenes and we rehearsed those pretty extensively. And you tell me, but I feel like that helped you guys. Like taking those key scenes, I did it strategically so to help you guys find the character. And when I say help you guys find the character's on the page. It's the way I envisioned it, but really, you guys not only going to bring it to life, but you're going to add to it, subtract from it, create your own version of it. And as a director, I've got to be comfortable with that. So
yeah, and I'm glad you kind of let us run with it, which is great. Because like you said, it's like you had a vision, but it was not like set in stone because we're only human, and it's like, what can we bring to the table to make Noelle come alive? And add a little bit of my creativity or Matt's creativity for Michael and all the other characters, So it was fun. The rehearsals were great. And I like not like over rehearsing everything because you still want the moment to be as fresh as possible,
Now, as far as the character Noelle, so you play the character Noelle, which is the female lead. She comes from a history of domestic abuse, divorce. Was there anything from your own personal, and I know that's not your own personal history, but is there anything, what did you bring to that character? Or was there something that made you click to this character to really bring her to life?
Multiple things. I mean, I know everyone has their own history and past, and as far as me, without disclosing too much, is like, I've been through some tough times with family or in relationships that, at the end of the day, it was like I had to find my own strength to break out of those patterns that I was in, and find a new me. So I think that was what Noelle was doing. And I think a lot of people who are in those situations sometimes have a hard time finding it within themselves, and it's not all their fault. Like they're stuck in something bad. And when you're in it too long, you sometimes forget what other reality could be yours that's so much better. Right. So I just, I was lucky to have the right people around me, and like, I have a fire lit under my ass all the time anyway. So I don't know, I could bring that to Noelle to like subtly find that little door cracked open and go see what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's, maybe there's some stuff keeping the door stuck a little, but just got to keep pushing little by little. And then I make my breakthrough. So I was able to bring that and fuse it together. And it was quite nice. And playing Noelle was really fun because Regina Ting Chen is not the most quiet, calm, collected person. She's a little crazy. But Noelle is sweet. And I'm not saying I'm not, but it like brought an element that's in me out, and I could play with it. I learned things about myself that I didn't know was there. It was really pretty. It was just a very beautiful process, the whole thing.
Awesome. And so then we go through the audition. We start to shoot. We start production. Right. Day one of production, I remember it raining. We shot the scene where you and Matt, I guess we were on location, where you and Matt eat tacos.
I ate so many tacos. We shot so many. We shot it in the summer, so it was hot.
Yeah.
And those were hot times, but they were fun. And I remember just like all of us just tag teaming and trying to make do with the time we've got and the materials we had and being in the moment, being present. I remember like after shooting our scene, we went to the dojo and I like passed out on the couch.
Oh, I have a picture of that too. Yeah.
Like I'm such a classy sleeper, let me tell you.
Yeah. Everybody passed out on that couch. Yeah. The couch is featured in the film. They've since gotten rid of that couch. That couch doesn't, is in the dump.
Did we destroy? We destroyed it.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, it was. We shot every weekend almost. I think we like did. I don't remember. Was it like three weeks consecutively, and we took one off, or
Yeah, I
something?
think that's how we originally. And then of course you get behind schedule, got to change it. But the original idea, I believe, was 3 weeks on, 1 week off, so that everybody doesn't get burnt out. And people, if you do have something scheduled, family, or you could
Yeah, and
easily
y'all
do
were
that.
great about scheduling,
You
like
know,
working around our lives. Really appreciate that, because that's the struggle is real when you're trying to
yeah,
juggle, and
oh
everyone's
yeah,
trying to juggle, the survival job and then the creative work.
yeah. Well, at the
Like,
time, I was working 2 jobs, so and then Lion Killer, which is a full-time job. So,
yeah.
but any filmmakers out there, you do really have to accommodate because you guys are accommodating us, and
It's a team effort, and when you find the
absolutely,
right team, it's still going to be hard, but everyone's in it for the same reasons,
yeah,
and it just works better that way.
absolutely, absolutely. So we start any memorable moments from production you'd like to talk about? Anything that
Oh
comes
my
to mind?
God, Matt's stomach!
Oh my God, yeah, I think I've talked about that in another podcast.
That it was so loud. I've never heard anyone's stomach grumble so loudly all the time.
I will say this: anyone who thinks that there's people that are in shape and then people that are out of shape, they're just lazy. I think Matt is proof that that's not true, because I think he's got the fastest most sped up metabolism I've
Yeah.
ever, because he would eat a full meal and then, so people don't know what we're talking about. So the way we recorded the audio was we kind of switched to boom mics later on, but we were using lavs mostly. So people would have lavs under their shirt in different places. So Matt often would have it under the lapel of his gi. And I would have the headphones, and I did the audio recording as well as wrote, directing, all that stuff. So I'm recording and I'm just hearing a grumbling. And the first time it happened, I didn't know where it was coming from. And I look around, of course it's coming from, now in hindsight, of course it's coming from one of the mics, dummy. But I look around, and Kevin Simmons, who was our boom op and grip,
Oh.
and really he was the gaffer, is what for the look of the film, really, he had a huge hand in that. But I look around and Kevin looks at me and goes, I'm sorry. So I'm
He
like,
took the blame.
but he didn't even know what was in my ear. So I thought me and him had this understanding that I heard a stomach growling. So then we go back, action. And then the growl happens again. And that's when I turned around and lit into Kevin. I'm like, what, go eat a protein bar. And he was like, what are you talking about? So then we finally realized,
It's Matt.
I was totally confused at this point, because I said, Kevin, why did you look at me and go, I'm sorry? He said,
Right.
right before you looked at me, I'd crack my knuckles. And I thought that's what you heard. I'm like, this is horrible timing. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't know why that moment was just like, it was so funny. And it just became a recurring theme,
Go get a protein bar, yeah.
Yeah, or just Matt's stomach. Matt's
Oh, yeah,
growling again.
Yeah, so finally I realized it's Matt, and he would have literally just B made most of the food, and B, I'd have to say, made great meals.
Oh my
was
God,
crafty.
the best meals.
Yeah.
Everything she made was amazing.
And
should have been filling.
Yeah. So for an indie feature film, we probably had the best crafty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There's no reason for anybody to be hungry. He would go eat an entire burrito in a bowl. B would like slow cook crock pot burrito in a bowl, and we'd make burritos and all kind of burrito in a bowl and all kind of stuff. And Matt his stomach was still growling, and the mic is just picking up his growling. And so we were just feeding him constantly chips and protein bars and whatever. So
here's all the sugar.
Yeah, it's like, Matt, you're in shape guy, but God, you're blessed with like the fastest metabolism.
Yes, and that is proof. Lion Killer is proof that he's blessed with the fastest metabolism.
Which is crazy. So,
but enough about Matt's metabolism.
It's a good thing though.
Yes.
If I had this metabolism, I'm jealous.
Oh man, me too. I have to work so hard. I have to kickbox so often to keep the weight off. But yeah, as far as other moments, like one moment that really stands out is when we were trying to rehearse the big argument scene, and something like we were almost there. I felt like the click, and I didn't know how to really make it work. So when we were rehearsing it, I don't know if you remember, like I made Matt and us do push-ups
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
while running that scene. And it's crazy because like I learned that from a technique in class. If you occupy yourself with something else, you take the focus off yourself and you're just present in the words that are coming out and how they're making you feel when you receive them from someone else, right? So it's like we did that and it just like clicked and something just, it just stuck with us. And it was such a great magical moment, you know?
Yeah.
And another cool thing is doing the bookbinding in,
Oh yeah.
uh,
Shout out to Villa Custom Books.
yeah,
They're book binding in
really,
Houston, Texas. Yeah.
really cool process. Great people.
Tony
And
Villa and his wife. Yeah. And
yeah,
they just allowed us to come in and showed us what was that process, because we see Noelle in her workplace and she's, I guess that's the way they dye book covers, isn't it?
yeah, and it's just really cool because
Marbling books.
you don't get to see those machines those anymore, and the very intimate process of doing it with your hands, and it's not like some machine that's pumping out stuff. It's just there's such a beauty to the mechanics of the process that like is
Yeah. Well, when he showed that, I don't know how how you felt that related to your character, but because he showed me that whole process and how he does it, he would send me videos. And to speak to kind of what you're saying, the intimate nature of it, I wanted Noelle to do that. I wanted that to be
yeah.
her, because we see Noelle a few times. We see her one time in her home towards the end of the film, then we see her in her job a couple times. But just that this person who's beautiful outside in, but she also has this kind of like hidden beauty,
Mm.
to do this craft where she's taking paper, she's taking leather, she's taking whatever and making it more beautiful is her
Mhm.
career. I thought that said something about her character. I don't know if you connected with that in any way.
Yeah, it was that ability in her to appreciate those raw things and like make them, not change them to something else, but
Mhm.
just bring out and
Yeah.
highlight those elements that really should shine to other people. It was really cool. And
Yeah.
I just like that Noelle did that because it was so the job was like her, she's trying to
Mhm.
bring out those little elements in her raw beauty. And it's like sometimes you need a little assistance, but it's all there. You just
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
find it.
Which, that's the kind of the theme that I've tried to really hit home with the film. One of the themes, but one of the themes in particular is the fact that we need other people in our lives to really bring out, at
Oh
times,
yeah.
certain times only, we need other people to really help us reach our goals or be a better person or be a better man or woman or brother or sister, whatever it may be. So the fact that community is a big part of your own personal development. All
Mhm.
right, so then we go through auditions and rehearsal and Matt's metabolism and all that stuff.
Push-ups and shooting in the heat, eating great food.
Yeah, and then
It was really bittersweet at the end. Like
yeah,
the last shoot day, it was like I hated it. Goodbyes are hard. And it's hard.
yeah. So
But and then you put in all that work, and we had to come in and do ADR a little bit in your
yeah,
little booth, the makeshift booth you made, which is great. And then you made a movie. We made a
we
movie.
made a movie. Yeah, like
Yeah, and
it's
then I
yeah.
brought my girlfriends. We flew in from Atlanta to watch it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is real!"
So when we did finally, well, to backtrack for a minute, I want to give a shout out to Mark Dong, who has the school that we shot on the last day, CrawFit now. He's a CrawFit instructor in Houston, Texas. I also want to give a shout out to Club Boost, who's also one of our sponsors, who the hat I'm wearing right now, they make great gis and other jiu-jitsu related materials.
And Joseph and Erica.
And Joseph and Erica Santa Rose at Rock Solid Taekwondo, and Marco BJJ as well. So the places we shot it at Rock Solid Taekwondo. The majority of the film was shot at Rock Solid Taekwondo, which we went in and painted walls and did all kind of stuff to turn into a jiu-jitsu academy for the film. But also Markle BJJ, where we shot the tournament scene. So we get there, we do ADR. You once again come, easy to work with. We do all our ADR. We do post-production work. And then we do get to the premiere. So, we did a private screening, cast, crew, friends, supporters, because this film was crowdfunded. So people got to come. We had to, I think the place set 80, 90 people. So we had to do 2 screenings, sold out both screenings. What was your experience like with that screening? Not only, hey, I finally get to see this thing that I donated an entire summer of my life in a hot warehouse, hot box.
Yeah, basically.
But so seeing the film, when you saw the film for the first time, what was your impression?
Well, it was, first of all, I was mind blown that it was done. Not because of you guys, but because in my experience doing indie films, it's just not often that things, like we talked about earlier, reach the finish line.
Yeah.
And second, it was so well put together. It flowed well. And I was kind of mostly in disbelief that it was happening. And it's kind of weird to see myself so much on a screen. And it was really like cool to think this could be my life, you know? And then I stopped myself, this is my life. Look,
yeah,
you know, which is, you gave me that opportunity. And and I worked hard to make sure I honored what opportunity you were giving me, you know? And then third of all, like I brought 2 of my friends who aren't in the industry and they loved it, you know? And yes, they're my friends, but they're also the type of friends who aren't afraid to tell me when things are bad because they care about my growth. By the way, talk about like having the right community around you. Like you need people like, not you, but in general, we need people who are able to be honest and raw with us because that's the only way to grow. You don't want those ass kissers. Because just it doesn't last. But
it stunts your growth.
Yeah, it really does. And who wants that?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really impressed and they loved the writing and they, you know, they actually, one of them is doing jujitsu now. They like got really yeah. And she's pretty good. She keeps trying all these moves and takedowns on me, and I'm a kickboxer. I've only done jujitsu a few times, but man, that is jujitsu is something else. It's like it's supposed to be the best martial art there is, right? For self-defense.
I wouldn't say supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're looking for self-defense.
I love my boxing.
I love kickboxing too, Muay Thai. You know, I've done so much.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for pure like self-defense, I would go.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, she's on doing that, and it's great. And I'd like to think Lion Killer helped in part of that, you know, and just they were able to see me work, and 2, like a really cool independent film because like it's different from a studio, you know, box office. It's more, you get more creative control. Anytime you take checks from anybody, you're losing a little bit. And the bigger the check, the less control you have. Yeah. So, you know, I was fortunate. We crowdfunded this, and to be at the premiere that we had, and to see the support of the community, and you guys had a line to sign autographs, and all the merch we had sold out like that. I mean, it was really, what it showed me, one thing was that, you know, when you're crowdfunding, everything's an uphill battle when you're making a movie. But once you've got something and people can see the vision clearly, people really support it. You know, people are like, they can sit there, they can watch it, and people were just very generous. So, of course. Thank you for coming down, because, you know, and Matt sitting there and signing autographs, you know, it really, you know, it was special for me to, you know, to say, okay, I can breathe a little bit now. You can sleep for the first time in months.
Years. It was, don't become a filmmaker if you want to sleep and have a social life. Yeah, right. So since then, you know, the film has gone on and been successful in film festivals. To date, we've been nominated for 3 Best Feature Film Awards. We've won 2. The other one we don't know the results yet. And you've been nominated twice as as Best Lead Actress in a Feature Film. What's that like?
Shocking. I need to give myself more credit because I've grown a lot. But
Yeah.
I always see myself as there's more to, learn and improve. So
Keep
this is
that.
nothing. But
Keep that though.
yeah, I was excited, after I processed it. It takes me a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's cool.
Feels
And I
good.
actually, like, since Amazon, it's on Amazon, and in the time that it's been streaming on whatever platform,
Amazon, Tubi, Google Play,
yeah,
YouTube. Mhm.
I don't know if I told you this, but recently I got my first fan mail, like an
What?
email from someone I don't know at all, from Florida, I think.
Mhm.
And it was so nice. He reached out, he said, like, he happened to watch Lion Killer and just loved my performance, and I made a grown man cry, and he never cries. That's what he said. And he's like, I just wanted to wish you the best of luck in your career because you deserve it. It was like really hard. It was really touching. And he goes, I love the storyline. It was great. Keep it up. And yeah,
Awesome.
I know. I was
Forward
like,
that to me. I'd love to read it. But I mean, what's interesting when we did finally do the premiere, there were several people who came up to me and with tears in their eyes and really connected with your performance. Because your scene, that's kind of the moment in the film. But yeah, that's not unusual. I've had several people. I know we've had to watch it a few times. And last time we went to Nacogdoches for that film festival, I know B still cries when she watches. B's my wife, co-producer. She did the craft.
amazing cook.
Right? So don't think that's not unusual. I've had several people come up to me and say that, and I'm kind of person I am. I'm always trying to like figure things out and have a mind that's perfect for jujitsu because I'm always trying to figure things out.
Strategy, yeah.
And I wonder if, because the story of Noelle and her son, I wonder if it connects, because the women I had come to me, most of them had sons, mothers with sons. So I wonder if it's but to be honest, I think your performance is so strong and universal. I believe it can speak to anybody, anywhere. If you haven't seen Lion Killer, go see it. Free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. So kudos to you. You did a really great job, and we couldn't have had a better female lead. Now, since the craziness of Lion Killer and moving to Atlanta, what have you been up to? I know your new passion. You're doing a lot of kickboxing.
Yes, I started kickboxing in Houston briefly before I moved, and then I came here and I joined an MMA gym, and I just love it. I kickbox. I was doing 6 days a week. I had to scale it down because one, it's great for just keeping in shape, but two, I trying to get that 2020 booty. So I decided I needed to add weights to my fitness schedule. It's not working. I think I just need to give up and like accept my genetics. But
you can do it. Squats.
Yeah, I love kickboxing, and I've dabbled in Muay Thai a little. It's just very, very good sports that are not only good for self-defense and just, I don't know, it's a great culture to be in. And like at my gym, they have a jiu-jitsu program, and everyone's very close there. And I like watching them too. I'm scared to do it. I need to just try to do it again. But these people, like, we're talking every moment. They're like you're saying, what new thing can I apply? How do I get out of this? And, or like you see the tiniest people take down huge people, like vice versa. Yeah. It's like, it's amazing.
It's a great equalizer, jiu-jitsu. Anything else you want to pitch or mention you might be in or we should watch other than watching Lion Killer over and over again?
Yes, watch Lion Killer and then send me fan mail.
Where can they connect with you at?
It was a really nice surprise. Like, I didn't expect it. And I just, one night, I was just, I don't know, had a bad day or something, and I got the email.
I still haven't received any fan mail. Where's my fan mail about?
I mean, it's pretty easy to find me online, though.
I've had people, like, send me corrections of things I should have done. I'm serious. So.
It's a little easier because I'm on the screen.
Yeah. They send me a bunch of critiques.
No, Derek.
What about B's reminding me right now? We should mention your painting projects.
Oh, well, I paint pets as like a a side hustle I really enjoy is acrylic painting, and that slowed down a little because I have been auditioning quite a bit, and I have a day job too, so I have to take care of that. But like, it's been good. If you need a pet painted, let me know. I'm pretty quick, and it's all very vibrant mesh of realism and impressionism together. So
You
great
you
for me
still
to
have your
drink some
Facebook
wine.
page. Your Facebook page is
Yeah, and a
Ting's Pet
website.
Paintings.
Huh?
Where can they find?
TingsPetPaintings.com. Yeah, my
Okay,
Chinese name is Ting. I like being called that.
Ting.
Ting
The
Ting.
Chinese release of Lion Killer starring
I
Ting
know.
Chen. No Matt Behan. Just a
No,
picture of
screw it.
Regina
Cross him out.
Ting Chen.
Yeah. You need to make another feature, but then you might not screw the process.
I'm working on something. And
Good.
now, right now, with coronavirus, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah,
to
everybody please stay home and stay safe. Please.
practice social distancing.
Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Watch Lion Killer.
And watch Lion Killer over and over and over again. Regina, thank you for coming on today for the first ever Lion Killer podcast. And
Yay! Miss you guys. Thank you for having me.